The Record Store Day list for 2024 is out, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually kind of excited to do this video. I make these videos every year, and I have since probably 2015 or 2016, where I talk about the list and I say the things that I think are great and the things that are not so great, or the ugly. And this year, I have quite a lot to say on both fronts. If you don't know what Record Store Day is, let me give you a very brief synopsis in case this is your first time checking out the channel. Record Store Day is once a year, or twice if you count RSD Black Friday, where a special list of titles comes out. Stores can pre-order them, and people often line up to try to get some of the titles before they sell out. Now, over the past few years, the lineup aspect has been sullied a little bit because I have experienced a lot of the titles being easy to get online after the fact, whether it's from a brick and mortar store or from a seller on Discogs. Usually you can find a lot of the stuff for about face value, if not less. Not to say all of it, there are certain records, I'm looking at you, Taylor Swift, and you, Nagaoka, that actually do go up in value, but it's really hard to predict which ones those are. So to be safe, if you're a record collector, it's always good to try to line up at your local store and grab the titles that you're looking for. Now, I haven't been impressed in many years with the Record Store Day list. There's always a few things I'm interested in, but never anything where I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe they're doing this. And then this year's list came out, and I was smiling as I went down and read it because I think this is the best Record Store Day list in a very long time. Since before COVID, probably since about 2018. I can't believe how impressed I am at some of the titles they chose to include. Now, I'm going to go through and tell you all the things that I find interesting. Not all of these are exactly my taste, but just things I think are worth mentioning. And then, of course, if I'm talking about the good, I must talk about the bad and ugly, so I'll be sharing some of those at the end as well. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, now would be a great time. Please hit the subscribe button if you're so inclined. Hit the bell so you don't miss out on what I put out. And now let's talk about the RSD list for 2024. As usual, the list is separated by RSD exclusives and RSD firsts. First means that you'll probably have a chance to get it down the road, whether it's that variant or a separate variant. Exclusive means that this is the one time it's going to be pressed. There are exceptions to the rule, but usually that is the case. Let's talk about RSD firsts. This is not a band I personally love, but I know a lot of people are going to be excited about the 1975 Live at Gorilla. 1975 releases tend to usually have some collectible value. People are usually scrambling for them. People come into my shop all the time and ask about them. So I figured it was worth mentioning. Then we have At the Drive-In, In Casino Out. This is one that is kind of hard to find. People love At the Drive-In, and this record, through its various pressings over the years, has become pretty tricky to track down. This is on a green and purple colorway, which I think is really cool with the cover, and I know this is one that people are going to be stoked on. The first huge one of the list is the Cranberries' Bury the Hatchet. As much as I love the Cranberries, I've never listened to this record, and I think it's about time. I just looked on Discogs, and the only other pressings of this from when it came out go for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So this is one of those moments where Record Store Day is actually taking a record that's out of print, high demand, and repressing it, which is personally what I think RSD should be for at large. But usually we only get a few of those every list. This time is no different, but I do think that there's more of these than usual. Definitely excited for more hard-to-find Cranberry stuff. And let's go right into another one. Dead by Sunrise, Out of Ashes. This is one I didn't expect to see. This is a Chester Bennington side project, Chester being of Linkin Park fame, and unfortunately, as we all know, he passed away not that long ago. Dead by Sunrise is an awesome record that really showcases his vocal talent, and the original press of it goes for, again, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So to see this come out on RSD was very, very exciting and unexpected. And then we have a best of Filter. I really ride for the first couple Filter records, Short Bus and Title of Record. I think they're great kind of grungy industrial albums, and I think the best of might scratch the itch for a lot of people. I know Short Bus has gotten a few represses that make it a little bit more accessible than the follow-up record, Title of Record, which is long out of print, which is crazy because I feel like I just remember when that got released. But the best of might be what most people need, you know, just the best tracks from their career after that and the hits from all their first two records. I think that most casual Filter fans, which I feel like most Filter fans are fairly casual, are going to probably really be excited about this. Another out-of-print record, The Hives, Black and White. I just had one of these on my wall at the record store, and it flew off the wall. Long out of print, super solid indie rock band, and this is another one that I was surprised to see on the list, but I think it's going to make Hives fans very happy. And then there is Nagaoka, the artist that came out of nowhere and is now the hottest thing since sliced bread. Over RSD Black Friday, I did not order the Nagaoka record that was on the list because I didn't know who it was, and not a single person mentioned him to me. After the fact, I had dozens of calls to the store asking if I had copies, people DMing me. And I was like, why didn't y'all tell me this before I put the order in? Why did I not know who this was? Well, now I can't stop hearing about Nagaoka, so I am definitely going to have to grab some of these for the store if I get lucky enough. But this is a album of his that has not been on vinyl before, so I think this is going to be one of the hot ticket items from the list. And then there's the one I think I'm most excited for in the list. It is Malfunction, Olympus Awaits. Malfunction, okay. When I saw this on the list, my jaw dropped because I have been saying for years, no, screaming into the void for years, why is there no Malfunction on vinyl? Malfunction being the project of Andy Wood before Mother Love Bone, before he passed away. It is kind of a proto-grunge, glam rock. It's so interesting. The material is so good, and it's never been on vinyl in any form. This is all about to change with this compilation that is coming out for Record Store Day. And I am so excited to own this. I feel like I've talked about this in videos before about wanting this to be on vinyl, and it hasn't happened yet, but now it is. So finally, fans of the Seattle music scene from the 80s and 90s and fans of grunge and Temple the Dog and Mother Love Bone, all these people are going to be very, very, very excited to add this to their collection. And then we have a record I tracked down about a year ago, Sonic Youth, Hits Are for Squares. I like Sonic Youth a lot, but I think I am more of a greatest hits fan for them than I am full album fan, with the exception of a couple. Daydream Nation is great front to back, and there's some other really good albums, but ultimately I am satisfied with owning just the greatest hits. It was kind of hard to find because it was out of print, but now they are making another press with a gold foil jacket and gold nugget vinyl, so I might have to replace my copy. And then another one that is arguably one of the biggest on the whole list that has people freaking out is Team Sleep's self-titled getting its first ever vinyl release. I have so many Deftones fans that come in the store and talk to me about Team Sleep and ask me if they know if it's going to come out on vinyl, and I've always told them it will. Everything eventually will get pressed if there's demand, and it just will. It's going to happen. And I think last year I said to somebody, it's going to happen next year. Well, it is. So this is the side project of Chino from the Deftones. Really, really awesome record, and I'm excited to pick this one up. I know a lot of Deftone fans are going to be freaking out today. And those were the RSD firsts. So if you missed those, there should be other releases down the road. These next ones are going to be RSD exclusives. This is what I talked about in a video a couple years ago, where I think I was saying, why haven't these albums ever been pressed on vinyl? Well, this is what I mentioned, and now it is. Blessed Union of Souls, Walking Off the Buzz. This is a quintessential 90s rock record. They were known mostly for the one big single, Hey Leonardo, which is better known for the lyrics, She Likes Me for Me. If you don't know that song, super earwormy, definitely check it out. I actually don't know the full record that well. I was just always surprised that with that single being so famous that it was never on vinyl. So that is being remedied. Next year, I'm sure we're gonna get the Tal Bachman record with She's So High. And the year after that, we're going to get that Roll To Me record with Delamitri. Let's just keep these 90s hits coming. And this is kind of just a fun one. This is Daft Punk, Something About Us, the love theme from Interstellar 5555. The original Daft Punk pressing in Japan had an alternate cover featuring this anime film, Interstellar 5555. And that cover version goes for like $500, $600, $700 if you can find a clean copy. This is just a 12-inch single, which has some of that art, and I think that's a cool thing for Daft Punk fans to own, myself included. As a collector, I think I'm going to definitely pick this one up. It helps that the songs are amazing, but the art is cool too. Death Cab for Cutie live at the Showbox. This looks like a really great show. I think the only other live Death Cab that I know of is the one with the Magic Orchestra, so this is more of a traditional full band set, featuring a lot of their best songs from their best records. I think this show happened right before COVID, so very excited to grab this one too as a huge Death Cab fan. This one I couldn't find much about, but I think I'm going to grab it just off of the concept. This is Nas's Illmatic rarities and remixes. I'm hoping for more rarities than remixes, but anything from the Illmatic era is definitely worth listening to, as it is one of the best hip-hop albums of all time, so this should be pretty cool. One I'm personally very excited for is the Paper Kites Evergreen. The Paper Kites is an Australian indie folk, indie rock, indie pop, whatever you want to call it. It's a hybrid of those three. Amazing band. The vocals are so dreamy. The production is super lush. All the songs are fantastic. And this is, I believe, their first 2 EPs pressed onto one cohesive release, and I have never heard these. I kind of got into them at 24 and really fell in love with them with the albums they put out after that, and then they put out a great album collaborating with a bunch of female vocalists. I just think they're one of the most underrated acts out there, and I'm really excited to grab this one when it comes out. And then Paramore, our RSD ambassador this year. I couldn't think of a better pick as a Hayley Williams super fan. I was very excited to see her name pop up as the representative for Record Store Day. And I was wondering, what is the band going to put out for RSD? Usually the ambassador gets a title or two on the list. And that's exactly what's happening. They're putting out their amazing album, This Is Why, as 2 separate versions. The first is just their remix album, which features a lot of collaborations with great artists. And then they're doing a version that has the remix album and the original in one. I don't need the original because I have it, but I just know myself, and I know I'm probably going to grab the double album anyway. And then we have Pearl Jam's Dark Matter. This is the upcoming Pearl Jam release. The first single came out, so good. McCready shreds that solo at the end. Really dark, really energetic. I love this direction for the record. And I already pre-ordered the 10 Club exclusive red and black, although I don't think they did it right. I think anyone could have pre-ordered it. I don't think you have to be a part of 10 Club. Someone messed up there. But that being said, they are doing a yellow and black cloudy ghosty pressing, which matches the cover even more nicely, I believe. And I'm going to probably grab this one. It is limited to 15,000 copies, which sounds like a lot. I once made the mistake of saying the PJ MTV Unplugged, which was, I think, 12,000 copies, would be super easy to get. Turns out it was not that year. Thankfully, they repressed it since then. But I don't know. If you're a Pearl Jam fan, I would not underestimate the power of the 10 Club. Here's another fun one that got a pre-order not that long ago on, I think it might have just been black vinyl, because this one's on red and black, I believe. But this is Tinted Windows, which is a short-lived supergroup featuring members of Smashing Pumpkins, Hanson, Adam Schlesinger of Fountains of Wayne, and Cheap Trick. Like, what a weird combo that shouldn't work, but it kind of does. I don't know if everyone loves this record, but I think it's a really solid rock record, and I'll probably cancel my black pre-order to try to grab this one. And then we have Spawn, the album. This was in that whole run of like Judgment Night and like Loud Rocks, all of these records that were kind of like these mashups of electronic and like industrial and rock and these kind of strange hybrid albums. This soundtrack was definitely in that pocket, and the originals and the represses all go for quite a bit of money, so this is a pretty cool repress. I have to revisit the record. I don't remember if I loved this, but it's cool to see something out of print get a repress. Huge one for hip-hop fans. We have Young Thug's Jeffrey. It's his fantastic experimental pop trap record that features him on a dress in the cover. It's a pretty iconic cover art. I think this record's pretty damn good. The originals go for crazy money. Again, triple digits for every variant. We had a blue one from VMP on the wall a while ago, and someone snatched that very quickly. So I know that fans are going to be very excited to get this for a more reasonable price until it goes out of print again. And then the last good one I'll mention is what seems to be the seminal live Fleet Foxes record. Live on Boston Harbor is a 3-disc compilation, it looks like, that is a full career retrospective featuring a ton of songs from all their stuff. This is something I definitely want to pick up, as Fleet Foxes are a band that have somehow eluded me to see them. I've never seen them live. I've always wanted to, so this is the next best thing. This seems like probably the only live Fleet Foxes you need. Now let's talk about the ugly real quick. I hate to bring it down after being so stoked on the list, but I feel like we're never going to get a list that isn't without bloat. And the reason I complain about the bloat is that they're clogging up the pressing plants with these things. They just sit on shelves. You see them at your record stores for years to come, just in the bins getting marked down every year. Stores lose money on them because they don't fly off the shelves the way the actual desirable titles do. Why are we still making these? These are manufactured collectibles in the worst way that, like, no one really asked for. The repress of the Monkeys, Birds, Bees, and the Monkeys, this is a record, again, you could just find at stores, 10, 15 bucks, maybe. I don't know why we need a repress of it. Another one, Cheech and Chong, Up in Smoke. Not gonna knock it at all in terms of being a soundtrack, not gonna knock the actual content, but you can find first presses of this, again, 10, 15 bucks. This is not a difficult record to find, so why exactly are we repressing it? And then the most egregious of them all, in my opinion, is the Linda Ronstadt Asylum Albums box set. This features 4 Linda Ronstadt records that you can find at any record store in the world for $5 or less in their discount bin, no matter what. Every store has them. So why are we doing a box set of them? Why? Unless this box set costs $20 for the 4 discs, this is wildly overpriced. I just can't imagine who the market is for this. Like, they're not bad records at all, but again, they're so cheap. I probably have 10 copies of each of these records hiding in the back of the store in a box somewhere. I just know that this is going to be like a $75 to $100 box set, and anyone that buys it, like, please don't. Just don't. Don't reinforce that bad behavior from the labels. And then we have a few egregious picture discs. I'm talking about The Cure's The Top, another RSD, another Cure release, another picture disc. We don't want them, Robert. We don't want the picture discs. We want just regular pressings. George Harrison Wonderwall music on picture disc. I mean, again, not one of his most beloved records, not hard to find an early copy. Blur Parklife on a zoetropic picture disc. Now, zoetropes can be kind of cool in concept. To actually see them, you have to like use an app and use a strobe and watch it through your phone. It's not really the most user-friendly thing. I have a lot of people that buy them confused, asking me how they work. Very cool in concept. Like I said, when you actually can see the animation moving, it is kind of cool for that brief moment. But Parklife is a beloved record that a lot of people really would love to just regularly find. It is not super easy to find, not crazy expensive to find a repress from years ago, but still, they're cramming it onto one disc, a zoetrope. I mean, is this the album that we really want to do this with? I don't know. And the most egregious thing on the list for me is the Fleetwood Mac Rumors picture disc for the biggest cash grab of all time. Rumors is one of the highest selling records at my shop. Every time I get it in, it sells immediately. It is not a hard record to find. Most stores have copies of it. Early pressings sound amazing. I don't know why you would not grab just a random pressing from the 70s, or if you're an audiophile, I don't know why you wouldn't grab one of the Analog Productions versions that sound amazing. So why is there a picture disc? I mean, this is literally just made for someone to put on their wall. Just print out a picture of the album and put it on your wall. I don't know. This just seems like, of all the records, just do a bland, regular picture disc. Why? Like, it's an amazing record. An image of this album is on my window at my record store. I am not slighting this record at all. We just don't need a picture disc of it. And then, I guess it's worth mentioning, there's no Taylor Swift release. Everyone was anticipating her doing something for her upcoming record. I guess not. So everyone's probably disappointed with that. I'm sure the Swifties are very disappointed with that. But that being said, I think there are a lot of titles to be excited about. I know I missed some on this list. I always do. So please, A, leave a comment with your thoughts on the list or my picks. I'd love to chat with you guys about it in the comments below. And also tell me what I missed out on. What are the things that I need to add to my collection that I didn't see on the list or I may not be familiar with? This is your chance to share with me. So thank you all for watching this yearly video, one of my favorites to do, and I'm actually stoked to say that I was happy with the list this year. Are you happy with the list? Let me know below. Thank you again for watching this video. More coming soon. Take it easy.